Hi everybody, my name is Yesenia Seha and we are in week 7, so this is my PowerPoint on implications of a failed education system. Most of my findings I got from the comparative education textbooks that we have been using in this classroom. Globalization and the purpose of schooling. So today's society is surrounded by globalization. Students need to have the skills, the values, and morals to compete in today's society and for the future. Um, It is estimated that approximately 40% to 50% of the jobs in the economic environment will require technical as opposed to university training. We basically need to start getting on board with technology, and I know we're starting to see a lot more technology being brought into the classroom, which is great. However, as teachers, especially a lot of the older teachers, they're not so much, they basically don't know how to use technology. So we need to provide that training as well for them to be able to, for them to know how to use it and be able to teach their students how to use it. Schools are not providing a global society. And again, we're barely starting to bring into that technology into the classroom more. So schools curriculum should be created to introduce and help students benefit from our global economy. We shouldn't be teaching to the test. Um, we need students to be able to explore, be able to use their creativity more, and let them do their own research on the internet. The picture to the right basically says, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. Our educational system, everybody's genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. This is basically saying that not everybody's on the same level and we should not all be tested on the same level. However, if we're bringing globalization into this world, we just basically need to focus on the technology portion of it, that they understand it, and teach them to use technology. Some will get it faster than others, but it's a process, and we need to have patience. Globalization and education, access and opportunity. I found this quote and I thought it was suitable. This is from President Barack Obama. He said, "We need to prepare our kids for the 21st century economy by bringing our school system into the 21st century." And again, this all has to do with technology. People who are more educated tend to be more knowledgeable. They use the example in the textbook regarding HIV and AIDS. So they're saying people who are more knowledgeable are less likely to catch HIV or AIDS. So we want students who are more knowledgeable in technology where they have a better opportunity in life and to be able to compete in the global economy. The provisions of technology is linked to economic progress, for better or perhaps worse. Globalization brings relocation opportunities. It was saying that it's estimated 175 million people are living in other countries that they were not born, that they're not from. And 40% of those people are living in developing countries. The curriculum reform is a necessary tool, meaning we need to change our curriculum. We're not back in the 80s or the 60s. We need to change the way we teach. We need to change our standards. And I know California just changed them to the Common Core standards, so it's a little bit more suitable now. We're making some type of progress. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's a lot, and I know a lot of older teachers are complaining over it, but it's a step in the right direction. It's a start. The cause of nurturing global citizens, developing and maintaining a curriculum and instructional approach that are up to the task of creating thoughtful students who recognize global inequalities as moral affronts may help to address world problems that are bound to remain pressing. And again, this is a quote that I got from the comparative education textbook. Globalization and education access and opportunities. Teachers must think globally and act locally, meaning we know this world is heading into basically pure technology. So we need to be able to know, we need to be able to be knowledgeable about technology and be able to teach our students as well how to use that technology, how to find through the research. I know for us personally, we just got tablets that are being brought into the first grade and kindergarten classrooms. So that is huge. I kind of like this one when I saw it. The failing schools. Everybody always is pointing the finger. You know, it's the teachers, it's the principals, it's the parents. Basically, we need to step up as a community, everybody. to help our society, in order for our society, our future, our students, for them to be successful in tomorrow's world. We need to step up and help them. And one of the biggest steps to that is technology. The nations of the world are, I'm sorry, this is globalization and education, accountability, and authority. The nations of the world are not held to standards of accountability and concentrate with their roles and participation in economic globalization. That is limited set of well-positioned nations hold considerable sway over the form and content of formal education. Again, another quote that I got out of comparative education textbook. The changes that are made that are unfair benefit some people, but at the expense of others. There's always going to be that downfall. Um, they're just saying the rich get richer, the poor gets poorer. It seems like with the whole technology base, we need to be able to step up our game and help those also in need. But the changes, again, they're going to benefit somebody, but it will be at the expense of another person. Teachers need to show students to recognize set values. Again, we need to start teaching our children to be ready for this global economy. I mean, we're already in it, and it's only going to get more technology based. Who knows what the future holds? Who knows what they'll come up with and invent from here to then? Globalization and teacher professionalism. More staff development and training is needed for teachers in America. We compare our country to other countries, and it's amazing to see how much staff development is being done for those teachers to help them. I know in our society, at least with my district, we have a lot of older teachers, and a lot of them don't even know how to input things, or even with the whole Google Docs and all that stuff being online now, a lot of the teachers are struggling in order to be able to access that, and how do they add and do things on there. We need this kind of staff development to help these teachers be able to do that. How do we expect them to teach our students if they can't even do it themselves? We need extra support. Again, we have classroom sizes that are, at least for me, I have a class of 30, but they go up to 32 in elementary. And it's difficult for one teacher to be able to pull those small groups and help those struggling students. So we need extra support in the classroom. Higher education, I mean, it wouldn't hurt if we did all have master's degrees. I am totally for that, and them making a requirement. I mean, I understand giving teachers obviously time to complete the program who are already employed, but some kind of higher education is needed in order for us to continue to do better. I personally feel that we can never stop learning. So, and especially with the global economy and the changes that are happening, we have to be up to date. We have to keep educating ourselves in order to be able to educate our students. Quality over quantity, meaning they say California, the United States teaches a mile wide, inch deep. We need to do it the opposite way, you guys. We need to be able to teach quality work, and I mean teach less of it, less things on our standards, but be able to go more in depth into whatever we're teaching. And then higher pay to build morale. I don't think that would be awesome if we can have a higher pay. Period. Awesome. But we compare ourselves to other countries. I believe they were saying Canada was making over 80 grand starting or something like that. I mean, if we could do that, I mean, a lot of more people would want to go into education. We would be able to produce more quality teachers, because now we have more people competing for the positions, and it would help those teachers as well, and it would build morale. It would also build respect and trust, in my opinion. And then I found this online. I have no idea. I just found the slide of where it came from. The link is below. However, I thought it was interesting. It says globalization, the change of drivers. Globalization is changing the way we see ourselves, our opportunities, and our communities. The world economy is changing expectations and is changing the way we need to meet demands. There are two significant change agents in the current global environment: education and the internet. And then these are basically the references that I use. I mainly did everything off comparative education. And then again, that link is that last slide from somebody's PowerPoint that I just happened to come across on the internet. Thank you.